For all of October, I will be reviewing retro games with a horror aesthetic to them. Last week, I did the original Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. Due to its immense success, Inti Creates quickly pushed out a sequel. I highly recommend playing the original or watching my review on it before continuing on here. But without further ado, let's get started. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2 did not stray far from the formula of the original, which we discussed in the last video. Your allies may be different, but everything else is a bit too similar. It still retains that same 8-bit retro look, sound, and feel. However, I feel like this one should have been stylized as a 16-bit game for a change. Wouldn't it have been cool to have something along the lines of Super Castlevania 4 for the core gameplay and appearance here? Anyways, even though the sequel didn't change much, that isn't necessarily a bad thing. Think of the Mega Man series for instance, it barely changes. You still start off with Zangetsu only, the same as before. He did get some improvements this go around at least, you'll unlock them as you progress. Your new allies here start with Dominique, who has longer range, jumps higher, and can pogo stick DuckTales style off enemies. Robert is a sniper with a slow long distance shot, who can crouch and, for some reason, wall climb? Like, look at his wall climb, it doesn't make any sense. And lastly, Hachi, who is a cute corgi inside a mech. Though the corgi is really cute, it just doesn't really fit this type of game, but who cares, it's so damn cute. With new allies come new special abilities to pick up as well. I'll just list some of the interesting ones. Dominique can summon a plant that spawns a health pickup. You can use it to heal individual party members. She also gains access to a resurrection spell, which, as it sounds, resurrects and restores health to all party members. Robert's special weapons are all garbage, and well, Robert is kinda garbage here too. His low damage, attack speed, and bad special abilities make it so if you only have Robert left, you might as well just force a game over to get your other allies back. Game over, man, game over. Robert is one of my biggest complaints about this game. His long-range attack warps the stage design majorly for the worse, and playing him just feels awful. And finally, there's Hachi, that cute corgi in the mech suit. He can float for a limited time, which is super useful and super awesome. He can also use up weapon power to become invulnerable. Remember Alfred's fire shield in the original Curse of the Moon? This is a more broken form of that. This invulnerability allows totally ignoring mechanics and trivializing otherwise difficult areas. Like, check out these clips here. In the stages, all you see of Hachi is a big mech stomping around. Everyone wants to see the corgi though. To address this, Curse of the Moon 2 added cutscenes at the end of every stage, where the corgi will stay outside of the mech suit. You'll see your allies interacting with each other over a bonfire, doing things like petting the corgi. Good call, developers. The game also has new fun ways of combining your characters. Throughout the stages, you can combine your allies' special abilities together to reach more areas. Like you can high jump with Dominique, then swap in midair to either wall climb with Robert, or float with Hachi. I like this encouragement of creative problem solving. Similar to the original, Curse of the Moon 2 has unlockables for changing up the gameplay and upping the replayability. What the previous game called Nightmare Mode is called Episode 2 here. It's sort of like the second quest in Legend of Zelda. You start the game with the allies unlocked, more paths opened up, and bosses having more difficult patterns. One of the additions worth mentioning in the sequel is a 2-player co-op mode. You can do couch co-op locally, or play it online with friends. This is an awesome feature, and one that should be considered in any modern retro game. So yeah, the sequel is very much the same recipe as the original. However, it suffers from some design issues that sour the experience somewhat. The music isn't as memorable this time around either, though it's good enough. I feel like the sequel was just rushed out, and it shows. I recommend sticking with the original. If the sequel goes on sale, feel free to grab it up and give it a try still. You can't go too wrong with following the formula of Castlevania 3. Thanks again for tuning in. I've been binge watching horror movies lately, so I'm very much in the Halloween spirit of things, and loving it. I hope you're having fun this month too.